Hey everyone, I'm Rooney. Welcome to RNY-426. This is the first episode of what I hope will be the start of my YouTube channel dedicated to my love for Fox's Alien franchise. The Alien series, I would say, is no doubt probably my favorite IP of all time. Just about every day I find myself delving into something alien related, whether if it's, watching a clip on YouTube, reading something on Reddit, listening to the podcast Perfect Organism, trying to stay on top of the Alien Earth series. Haven't seen a preview of that yet just because I wanted to be as spoiler free as possible. But, it's fair to say that the series has always been something that's been very special to me. When I had gone to school to study filmmaking, the Alien was a big reason about why I wanted to go into the field, just because it was just something that I just found awesome, and I just wish I could almost get my name in something as good as that. So yeah, a lot of people in pulp culture they regard the three top bad guys in sci-fi to be the Terminator, the Predator, and Alien. And oddly enough, I first got into Terminator, and then Predator, and then Alien. When I was about 6 years old, I had the videotape of Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and I used to basically watch T2 on repeat all the time. My folks, they were not happy with me watching this movie, so they gave our videotape away to my cousins just for the sake that I wouldn't be watching it. And then I just ended up going over to their house to watch it. But because of Terminator, I was a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then some years later, me and my brother were flipping through channels, and then eventually we see this movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in the jungle, and he's fighting this humanoid alien. And we thought this was cool, and come to learn that that was Predator. So that's what got me into the Predator series. So we check out Predator whenever it was on TV. I remember renting Predator 2, and then remember reading on the old IMDb trivia about how inside the Predator's trophy room you see an alien skull, and that eventually got me into Alien. It wasn't long after that, when I first saw Predator 2, that Alien vs. Predator was in production. And so at that point I started just trying to keep on top of Alien vs. Predator. And then eventually the movie came out, and that started my journey on to loving the Alien series. While AVP was the first Alien movie I watched, it wasn't my introduction to the series. My first real exposure to Alien was the Disney MGM ride, Great Movie Ride. In that ride, there's a section where you're going through the Sulaco as it's breaking apart. The alarm's going off. You saw Ripley with the animatronic Ripley with her flamethrower. You see the xenomorph coming through the ceiling, and also later coming through the pipes on the side. And bear in mind, this is 2002 Disney. This is not Disney what it is today, where Disney even has acquired the Alien rights. Disney today has Star Wars. It has Marvel. It has content that's geared towards adults. Whereas back then, 2002, Disney was really had that real family friendly vibe. So because we're at a Disney ride, I'm thinking that Alien is a Disney is probably just some family sci-fi movie, maybe a more intense family sci-fi movie, but just a Disney family movie overall. So I didn't think it was anything special. I didn't think much about it at the time. Cut a few years later, when I finally saw Alien vs. Predator, I was like, wow, this is very cool. So after I had seen Alien vs. Predator, the original Alien picture was showing on one of the movie channels, so naturally I tuned into it, and I was so excited for it. And at that time, though, I'm a kid. I know all I like are just action movies. Probably Michael Bay is probably my idol. That's all you want to see is just big explosions and stuff going on. So Alien, when I saw it, the original Alien did not really have that. It was a more creepy atmosphere, tension building, but it wasn't like that action stuff going on. So I thought it was boring, and I didn't care much for it, and I was even puzzled as to why it was so popular. So my opinion on first viewing of Alien was I didn't like it. And then this is 2004. That school year, during the 2004-2005 school year, I had taken some TV courses at my high school, and that's sort of what made me want to start getting into filmmaking. It started becoming a bit of almost a transformative year for me, where I started to learn about what makes storytelling good. In the summer of 2005, I was into that show Entourage. Anyone who's not familiar with it, Entourage, the basic plot is this actor Vincent Chase and his friends who are his entourage. They're basically their lives as they're living in Hollywood. So way before we had our Jason Momoa Aquaman, during the second season of Entourage, there was a storyline was about Vince as he was trying to win the role of Aquaman, which was in the Entourage world there would be an Aquaman movie that would be directed by James Cameron. So there was one particular episode where that took place during the Sundance Film Festival where James Cameron was attending to see one of Vince's movies and then would decide if he wanted to cast Vince afterwards. Before that happened in that episode, they had met up with another movie producer who wanted to give Vince a guaranteed movie role. So Vince had to decide, did he want to take this movie role or did he want to pass on it and see if Cameron liked his movie and wanted to cast him in Aquaman. And at one point he was thinking about it and he kind of talks to his manager E and he says to E, hey, how many times did we see aliens when we were in high school? And, and that conversation made him realize that he needs to take he wants to take the gamble and see if Cameron likes him and pass on the movie role. And I remember thinking to myself, if Aliens is that good that it made someone pass on a guaranteed job, then it must be an awesome movie. So naturally, after seeing that episode, I watched Aliens, and this is my new mindset after having taken the TV courses and knowing more about storytelling. And I remember watching Aliens and thinking that this is the best thing ever. Really want to wish I was part of it. Wish I had been part of the movie. Wish I had made it. It was definitely a big influence on me. So after watching Aliens, me and my brother we rented Alien 3. And shortly after we watched Alien Resurrection, and around that time, Alien vs Predator was coming on the HBO channels, and we still liked it at the time, so we were watching that on demand just about every day. So yeah, that was basically my summer. 2005 was my summer of Alien. And not long after that, I had got around to rewatching the first one, and somehow I just found myself enjoying it even more. I don't know, just my whole mentality kind of just changed on it. What I hope for this channel to be about is me just discussing all things alien and alien related. I want to start with reviewing the first 4 movies and maybe go further on from there. Maybe talk about the extended cuts of the movies. Maybe review the episodes of Alien Earth as they come on. And then maybe after that, just maybe talk about other things related, like the Predator series, or show you my Alien merch. Talk about my experiences playing Colonial Marines, Alien Isolation, Fire Team Elite. I've had a very difficult time with Fire Team Elite. I haven't got past the first level. Maybe this finally give me an excuse to give it another shot, or maybe also get around to playing Aliens Dark Descent. I still have my Aliens Glorious Day in the Corpse board game that I'd like to open up, maybe play it out with my cousins. I'll be happy to tell you what it's like. And hope you guys stick with me throughout the journey, and I'll see you in the next episode.